Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new, then hi, welcome to my channel. Sorry I've been gone for a little bit. Basically, I got the horrible cold that's going around at the moment and I'm still recovering now, so if I sound a little bit weird, it's just because I'm like bunged up. So we are here with what I watched in October. I still have another Halloween video yet to come out. It's just going to be a movie watching one, but because I was ill, I haven't been able to like do anything, but that will be coming out next week. So you've got like one more Halloween film coming out and then we'll move on from Halloween. But today we're going through everything that I watched in the month of October, and because I was ill at the end of the month, I whizzed through so many things. I'm going to talk to you about everything I watched TV and film wise and what I thought of it and if anything is worth the watch. Starting off with TV like I always do. The first thing I watched was Kevin Can F Himself. Now this was on Prime Video and it stars, I don't know her actual name, Alexis from Schitt's Creek. Basically, she's the star of this show. This was very different, very interesting. I thought the actual storyline and everything like that was very, very clever and I haven't seen anything like it. So basically, this girl is in a sitcom. She's the wife of the main guy in the sitcom and you're basically seeing her life out of the sitcom. So imagining that the sitcom is a real thing, they're real characters. And when he's in the room, everything's bright and giggly and funny. But as soon as she's out away from him, it goes back to like reality. I thought it was a very, very clever idea and it was executed really well. Like this is definitely one you need to watch. It's going to be so underrated. I believe it's already been renewed for a season 2, which I'm so glad about. Like so glad about. Trust me, if you want to watch something that's actually really good and different, give this one a go. I then watched You season 3. Now we all know how much we've been looking forward to this, and for me personally this is one of my favorite things ever because it kind of reminds me of my favorite program ever, Dexter, which comes back this month. So without spoiling anything, obviously season 3 carries on from the last 2 seasons. I thought again that this was great. I think these type of storylines can only go so far without it being a little bit predictable and a little bit like again. But I did really enjoy it. So You is about this guy called Joe who is essentially a serial killer, I guess. Killed more than 3 people, so yeah, a serial killer who becomes very obsessed with women and loving a certain one woman and will become obsessed and follow them and think it's absolutely normal to the point where he's like almost tricking them into falling in love with him. But season 3 carries on through the relationship he has now. He has a baby, he's a dad now and a wife, and he's moved to a suburban little area in America, and it's about him and his wife trying to fit in. I mean, love, I would do anything for that. But that's just because she's gorgeous. I liked the added characters in this one. I liked where this one went as well. I'm just very intrigued to see where the next season's gonna go because I honestly have no idea how much longer and further this show can go. But I do love it. The next thing I'm watching is I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm saying I'm watching because it's coming out weekly, which I haven't actually watched something like that in a very long time, not gonna lie. For some reason, on Prime Video, this is coming out weekly. So I Know What You Did Last Summer is a TV version of the film. I've never seen the film. I feel like I will watch the film once I finish this series, just because I want to know what it's about and what the difference is. I would love to see. But it is a thriller type TV show about these teenagers, but it's about these twins where they kind of don't like each other. One of them's really outgoing and one of them is a lot more shy and reserved, and they just don't really get along very well. And then something that night at a party happens and then everyone and their friends are kind of in trouble for the rest of the season. Obviously I haven't finished it, so I don't know how this is going to end. If you watched Panic or Cruel Summer, you'll probably like this as well because it's kind of on the same lines of things. Oh, I then watched Midnight Mass. Now this was one of the best things I've watched this month, like 100%. This was so good. So this was created by Mike Flanagan, who also made The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, you know, all those things. So if you like those, 100% check this out. So Midnight Mass is all about this tiny island with hardly any people living on it, so they all know each other. Oh my god, it's so crazy. The show is so crazy, where you're following these people that are very, very religious, the Catholic religion. If you've seen The Haunting of Hill House or Bly Manor, you will know how crazy this guy's ideas are and how crazy and kind of like scary in a way some of the things are. But this was just like a whole different level of I can't stop watching because this is so... I don't even know how to explain this. I don't know how to describe this to you. I want you to go in this the same way I did with not knowing anything. But if you like The Haunting of Bly Manor and you like The Haunting of Hill House or you like the film Hush, you will 100% like this. I promise you. It had a good story as well. Like, it wasn't just scary. There was a good story behind it all. And the last TV show I watched a lot of movies this month because obviously it was Halloween month. The last TV show I watched was Pretty Smart. Now this was new to Netflix and it was a sitcom kind of show, but it's got Emily from Hannah Montana in it, so I decided to watch it just to see what it was like. It doesn't seem like my type of thing. I'm not the biggest fan of like a laughing soundtrack in the background or anything like that. It can be a bit cheesy sometimes, but this was the perfect like background TV, the perfect I'm feeling ill and I'm laying on the sofa and I don't want to watch anything too hard, so I just put this on. And it was alright. I mean, I do want a second season, not gonna lie. I want to keep watching it. It's definitely something you could binge watch within, well, a day. That's exactly what I did. But it's about this girl that moves in with her sister who is very like happy and positive, and the main girl is just not. And everyone that she lives with as well is so happy and positive, and you know, like that insufferable sitcom happiness. The main girl that goes to live with them isn't so optimistic and like happy all the time, and she's just been broken up with. A bit of romance in there, there's friendship, there's, you know, family relationships. It's very simple, it's very easy. But that's exactly why I wanted to watch it. Moving on to films that I watched this month. The first bunch of films the first bunch of films I want to talk about are the Scream movies. So I had never actually seen Scream before. I knew I had watched part of it before, and I've watched the Netflix series of it before, but I never watched the films. The first film I went to watch in London, I went to a premiere of it, which was so cool. I went to like a screening so I could see the first look of the new trailer that's coming out next year, which was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I have been missing out. This is now the first Scream film is one of my favorite horror films ever. I adored it. I absolutely loved it. So the Scream films are your classic slasher horror film, but these ones are kind of like taking the piss a bit. First one was just on a whole nother level to the other ones and to a lot of horror films that I have watched. So it's about this girl called Sydney, and her mum had died a few years ago. I think it was a year ago actually, when all of a sudden this ghost face, a person in a mask of a ghost, you've seen it all before, killing teenagers around the neighborhood. And it's just that, but with so much more and some very good looking people. Oh my goodness. Then decided I had to watch the rest of them because I love the first one so much. So the second Scream film is just kind of carrying on. They're all along the same thing, but this one was literally a year later, and then the number 3 is a year later as well, and then number 4, there was 4 of them, is about 10 years later. So there was a little bit of difference in that one. Anyway, that is Scream. It's very good. I definitely would recommend you watching it, especially the first one. The first one is 100% worth the watch. I then watched a film called Birds of Paradise. This was on Prime Video, and I felt like I just wanted to give it a go. I wasn't sure what it was, but it was about these prima ballerinas who are trying to become like the big ballerinas, and it's them basically going against each other, trying to get that number 1 spot. Films like this and TV shows like this are always, they're fine, but I did watch it in 2 halves, which I think doesn't really show it as being like amazing, because I did watch half of it and then I did something else, and then like 3 days later watched the other half of it, which I never do. I never do that with films, ever. I did find it a little bit stale, I think is the best word to describe it as. Like the acting was good and everything like that, but it was just the story wasn't quite there for me. The next thing I watched was After We Fell, which is part of the After series, aka the Harry Styles fanfiction that somehow became a book and somehow became a 3 or 4 movie series. How did that happen? This one was awful. This film was not good. I'm gonna do a whole reaction video to it. I'm gonna do a movie commentary on it because I need to, and I've done the other 2 on my channel, so if you want to watch those, please do. The first 2 are alright. This one wasn't very good, so I won't talk too much about it. I just watched it, and I'll watch it again for you guys. I then watched There's Someone Inside Your House, which is a Netflix new horror film. This was pretty good. This was your typical slasher film again, but like obviously more updated. It was fine. If you like a slasher film, if you like a bit of a scream film, give it a go. You'll probably like it. It was a bunch of teenagers once again being hunted down, being killed. I mean, the ending was a bit predictable, but I think those type of films are meant to be predictable. I like to tell myself that anyway. I then watched The Duff. Again, I've watched The Duff so many times in my life, but I was like alone and sad, and I was like, I just want to watch something I know that I like. So I watched The Duff. I do love this film, and I think it's such an underrated chick flick. So The Duff is about this girl that is the Duff, which stands for designated ugly fat friend or something. Something ridiculous like that. She's worked out that she is the Duff. I mean, she's clearly not. She's absolutely gorgeous. And it's about her just kind of wanting to glow up and, you know, the typical cheesy chick flick, but I love it. I think it's a really good chick flick and it's way underrated. If you've never seen it before, definitely check it out. And the last film I watched this month was Night Teeth. This was a new Netflix horror film. It had Sydney Sweeney in it and it had Megan Fox in it. Therefore, oh, and Debbie Ryan. Therefore, I had to watch it. All these lovely ladies in one film? Yes, please. I hate saying things aren't good. I hate it. I hate being negative so much, but this just wasn't it. It was about some people being vampires, including Sydney Sweeney and Megan Fox, and I don't quite know what this film is about, but it was kind of like humans versus vampires. I didn't quite get it, but it was entertaining at the same time. Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was just something you could put on during Halloween. It could have been better. I mean, like, the hype was like up here because of Megan Fox and Sydney Sweeney and Debbie Ryan. I did not come out of it thinking it was amazing. So yeah, that is everything that I watched in the month of October. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up because I do these type of videos every single month, and soon, so soon now, we're going to be doing our yearly roundup, which is ridiculous. Like, I have my whole list of the year and it's so big, so that's gonna be some kind of long video, but yeah, hit subscribe button if you want to see more from me, and make sure to follow me on my Twitch because I do stream there quite a few times a week. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will hopefully see you again very soon. And I'm now gonna go downstairs to see my puppy because it's the first time I've filmed a video and he hasn't made a sound. Woo!